The international hit TV program on Fox, known as The O.C., features the city of Newport Beach as its setting. With sexy young people cavorting in this endless summer of surf and sun, Newport Beach is depicted as an ideal year-round paradise. Full disclosure, being the news behind the news, went to Orange County to interview Mayor Don Webb to find out what the real Newport Beach was really like.
Newport started out really as a shipping center for the Southern California area. It was competing, believe it or not, with Long Beach and San Pedro Harbor. Now the recreational center, the place that you came for entertainment and to go to the speakeasies and have a dance every now and then, was Balboa. And that's about a mile and a half down the road from the Newport Pier and the McFadden Square area in a little community called Balboa. And it's the Balboa Pavilion was constructed there in 1905, a year before the city was incorporated.
Balboa Island and Corona del Mar were separate beach communities in the Newport area. They eventually became part of the city of Newport Beach. We asked Mayor Webb to explain how this happened.
Well, there's a Balboa and there's a Balboa Island.
Oh.
They're two different places. Balboa is on the peninsula, and it's a separate entity. It has its own post office with a Balboa name and address and zip code. And if you want to, you walk a block and a half down from that post office, and you climb on the ferry that started in about 1909, and you take the ferry on a nice short ride over to Balboa Island, which is just across the bay, slightly to the north of Balboa, and you have an island community. Its business district is on Marine Avenue, and they also have a post office with a name, Balboa Island, and a zip code. So we're actually, Newport Beach is a community of communities.
Newport Harbor has long been a prime area for recreational boating. This has made Newport the destination for the wealthiest families in Southern California. It was once the home of celebrated actor John Wayne, and we asked Mayor Webb to tell us the importance of boating to the city.
We right now have probably close to between 9,000 and 10,000 boats in our harbor. A large percentage of them are power boats, but you probably have 3,000 or 4,000 sailboats of all different sizes, from a little 8-foot Sabot dinghy up to, there's a replica of the Lynx, which is a replica of a schooner that was built originally in the 1800s. So that we have a broad variety of sailing that occurs here.
How does Newport Harbor differ from the harbors at San Pedro or Long Beach, we asked him.
Well, it's one of the largest small boat harbors in the world as far as accommodating pleasure crafts, and it's unique in that it doesn't have a significant commercial operation.
So is pleasure boating a necessary part of life in Newport Beach, we asked him?
The people that live adjacent to the water, most all of them have a boat of some type or another that they use, and so that would mean that you have a large market within Newport. We are very proud of our Fashion Island and Newport Center area, which is the major shopping center in Newport. It's a little bit of our skyline. It's one of the places where we have a few high-rise buildings. As you go around the community, there's I mentioned earlier, Corona del Mar is a little village type area that has developed it started back in 1904, but really didn't get started until the mid-1920s. Coast Highway runs through the middle of it, and that's where they have a lot of shops, and the people in that area are very protective of Corona del Mar. They have themselves a bluff area along Ocean Boulevard where you have some beautiful views of the jetty and Catalina Island on a good clear day, and the boating activities. There's a big Corona Beach down there. I've mentioned the Newport Coast area is one of our newest areas. You have on the other side of the bay from Fashion Island, you have the West Cliff and Dover Shores area, which is areas that were developed in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And so they're a little bit more mature than some of the other areas.
So we asked Mayor Webb how he compares his city to the OC TV program. Here's what he had to say.
We appreciate the recognition that we've gotten through the OC program. It's people have come up to me, and I travel a fair amount. And in Ireland, I was questioned about it, as well as back east, and a cousin in Harvard was questioning it. So it's the TV production isn't really our real life here in Newport. We're a little bit even better than what you see on the television.
And as we traveled through the city for our interview, we noticed there weren't many vacant lots. In fact, many of the streets are lined with small houses crowded shoulder to shoulder with no lawns and few garages. There doesn't seem to be much open space in the city at all. We asked Mayor Webb if the city was almost completely built out.
To a certain extent it is. Most of our vacant land within the community has been developed. And most of our growth that will occur is going to be infill and redevelopment of existing sites. We are looking through our general plan at how we might come up with a like mixed-use developments in some of our office and industrial complex areas, particularly out in the airport area, where we would take office buildings and create areas that would have both a combination of commercial and office as well as residential. Hopefully trying to keep our village concept together of creating some areas with where people could live and work in close proximity. We really are looking at trying to maintain the quality of life. We're not interested in any significant growth as per se. We're interested in a intelligent and a type of growth that will add to the quality of life within the community.
To maintain that quality of life, is there an active no-growth movement among the citizens of Newport Beach, we asked him?
Our citizens are very conscious of traffic congestion and traffic congestion problems, and so they are asking us, the City Council, to look very carefully anytime a new development occurs and manage that development to where it doesn't cause significant traffic problems within the community, which is one of the biggest concerns that you hear out in the community as well. We want to make sure that we don't have congestion everywhere we go.
We asked the mayor what infrastructure improvements will require public financing to keep up the projected growth.
The office we're sitting in today is a space that is part of a City Hall facility that was constructed in 1948. It's been added to ever since. We have taken and built a new council chambers out front. We have what used to be an old jail facility that is now our Parks and Recreations department. We're bursting at the seams. If you were to go around the City Hall, you would see that there's not a whole lot of extra room here, so that we are considering a new City Hall.
We asked the mayor how he plans to get the citizens of Newport Beach to agree to pay for these necessary improvements.
We went into the City Hall discussion project about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and we evaluated this particular site. We evaluated various different buildings. Could we use the old buildings? Do we need to have new buildings? If we're doing construction, where are people going to go? We got a really good idea of what is needed at City Hall, but then somebody asked the same question that you did, and that is, well, how do we finance all this? We looked at the possibilities of what kind of financing mechanisms are. They're called certificates of participation are out there. It allows us to borrow some money and pay for it out of our general fund. And so this committee that looked at financing said, well, let's look together. There's about $160 to $170 million worth of improvements that are out there. We put together a plan and will be presented to the City Council in about 2 weeks on how that can be funded.
What about developers? With Newport Beach built out to the seams and a persistent no-growth attitude among the citizens, do developers play a significant role in Newport Beach politics, we asked him?
There will be an element of the community that will say yes. I would say that they are one of the groups that's out there, and that as far as influence is concerned, I don't think that they have any more influence over our decisions and over the elections than the growth that the people that are more interested in limiting the growth. I've been accused of being a developer. I'm an engineer. I worked in the public works department. I like to build roads and streets, but I'm also very concerned about my quality of life here in the community, and I'm going to be very conservative when I look at what gets built in this community, that it's something that's going to be good for the community.
But do developers get elected to the city council? We asked the mayor to describe the people who are currently serving on the Newport Beach City Council.
We have a mortgage broker, real estate agent. Steve Rosansky is our mayor pro tem. We have Ed Selich is a developer of small developments in the Southern California area. He doesn't have any going in Newport Beach, but he does have some in other beach communities. We have Keith Curry, who is in the finance business, the bond brokering business, very informed on financing. And then the one I've left for last is Todd Ridgway. He's been on the council the longest, and his term limits will cause him to be will not be able to run. He's a developer of shopping centers throughout California. Each one of these people is pretty much independently employed.
We asked Mayor Webb, as the resources of space and money become more and more limited, doesn't this foreshadow more and more conflicts between the various political elements in the city of Newport Beach?
It's kind of interesting. I gave the mayor's speech at the mayor dinner, and my closing slides in the PowerPoint presentation are, will our future be foggy or will it be bright? I predict it's going to be bright.